Hi everyone, this is Ryan Cassata, and today I'm joined by my friend Freddy from London, and he's going to share his experience transitioning in his country. So now we know it's different to transition in every country. I've made a video about transitioning in Denmark and transitioning in Switzerland, so you can find the links below in the description. And now let's hear about what it's like to transition in London. Fred, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Give us a little introduction.
My name is Freddy, I'm 29, I was born in London, England. I grew up in a small town on the southeast coast, but in my mid-20s I moved back to London. For the past year I've been working and living in Australia, and I'm moving back to London next week. I work as a video journalist for a big online news organisation, and I also write about internet stuff and trans issues.
What do you have to do in order to get top surgery?
From the start of my medical transition, I've been with the Charing Cross Clinic in London, and I've always had a really good experience with them. The problem with Charing Cross is that it has to care for way too many people, so there's huge waits. After getting my referral to Charing Cross from my local GP, I had to wait almost 2 years for my first appointment. After that, I had to wait a further 3 months for my T letter, and then I had to wait about another 2 months to actually get my first shot of T. And that happened in April 2013. I'd been on T for about 6 months when I made the decision to go to Dr. Garamoni in Florida for top surgery. I could have had top surgery in the UK, and it probably would have been a bit quicker even, because I wouldn't have had to wait to save the money. In the UK, everything from hormones to surgeries is covered by the NHS, the National Health Service. So the National Health Service used to be very strict, and it used to have certain rules about when you could start T, when you could get top surgery, and there was a sort of set routine for transition. And I think nowadays they're a lot more flexible, and they take each person as an individual and listen to what they want and what's good for them. I have friends who are non-binary, who don't ever plan to go on testosterone, but have had top surgery on the NHS. So I think how and when you get top surgery in the UK is very much an individual experience.
Are there a lot of top surgeons to choose from? Does insurance cover it?
In terms of surgeons and insurance in the UK, I really didn't do much research into surgeons because I knew very early on that I wanted to go to Dr. Garamoni. I didn't want to go to him because I didn't like the results I saw in the UK. It's just that I really liked his results. And insurance-wise, you could pay for top surgery with private health insurance at a private hospital, I think, because we do have private hospitals in the UK. But I think the vast majority of people get the surgery done on the NHS so that it's free at the point of delivery. Obviously the NHS is paid for through your taxes, so you would not need any kind of insurance to get top surgery.
What about with hormones? What's the process?
So I got on T back in 2013, and I'm not sure if the process has stayed the same, but for me, I was referred, like I said, sort of 2 years earlier. I went to my local GP armed with information. I knew exactly what I wanted, that I wanted this referral to Charing Cross Clinic. He kind of apologetically explained that the first step on the NHS is to go for a psychiatric assessment. He kind of said that at the moment the NHS recognises that being trans isn't a mental disorder, but it used to be considered one, and there's this hangover from that time where they want to just assess you, I suppose maybe also to check whether you do actually have any mental health issues before you embark on transition, because it's obviously like a stressful and challenging thing to do. That was all fine. I went for that assessment, got my referral. So I had my first appointment with Charing Cross, and I was fairly certain I wouldn't get my T letter then. I think that's standard, I'm not sure anyone would. And in my case, I saw a consultant who sort of took us really detailed history, and she said that she felt like that I wasn't ready to start T because I hadn't come out to enough people. I hadn't, even no matter how I felt inside and how strongly I felt about wanting to transition, I needed to be living it more in order to sort of test what it felt like. So I had to go away for about 2-3 months and do sort of a real life experience type thing, which was really hard and depressing, where I had to sort of come out to everyone in my life. I came out on Facebook, I changed my name. Was cool, and coming out to lots of people was cool, but you know, meeting people I didn't know and feeling obliged to tell them that I was trans and male, even though they totally read me as female the whole time. I basically ended up becoming a bit of a recluse and not talking to people as often, like whenever I could avoid it, because my voice would like give me away, you know. So then I went back, and because I had done all these things and made this, like shown my commitment, even though it was really hard, I'd proven myself, I guess. It's just like ridiculous things you have to do. And then I got my T letter.
What would you say is the hardest part about transitioning in your country?
So I would say, in my own experience, that the hardest thing about transitioning on the NHS in the UK is the waiting times. You know, for me they were really long, and I was lucky that I was able to fill that time with travel, and I worked abroad for a little bit in Afghanistan, so I really kind of tried as hard as I could to take my mind off things. But if you can't do that and you're really struggling to get by without starting your transition, you know, without being able to start your life properly, it's just devastating to have to wait that long. The reason that you have to wait that long is because it's a national health service, and so they have to prioritize certain types of care, like end-of-life care or early life care or emergency care. I can see how those have to be prioritized. But equally, it's not okay that people who are struggling are left to wait for years.
Do you have anything else that you'd like to share about transitioning?
Anything else I would like to share? I guess I would just say that thing about being yourself when you go for your gender clinic appointments. Be yourself and don't worry about saying the things that you think they want to hear. They are much more interested in really finding out who you are and why you're there than, like I said, sort of ticking boxes or finding out if you're really trans. I really don't think they think in that way anymore, even if it feels scary and like you might be judged. I think they understand non-binary genderqueer people now in the same way they understand transness in general as a spectrum. Cheers, Ryan.
Thank you so much for sharing your experience, Freddy. I'm sure this video will help a lot of people. Peace.